Hello friends, welcome to my channel Bhaskar Acharya Math Science Online. So in earlier videos, I have shared with you the videos related to mathematics. Now in this video, I am going to share with you the science videos. So all these videos are basically related with your 10th standard, and here I have selected 10 English medium as well as semi-English medium. So in semi-English medium, the student has to study mathematics and science in English and other subjects in their local languages. So keeping into all these points in mind, I am going to speak you in English, in Marathi, and sometimes in Hindi also, so as to understood the subjects. Because what I feel is that as far as understanding is concerned, language should not be the barrier. Therefore, here in science part 2, I'm going to take the first topic, that is the heredity and the variations. So heredity and evolution, this is your first topic as far as science 1 is concerned. So let us start with our first video from your science 1. So heredity and evolution, when we speak about the heredity, so what is meant by the heredity? That is the transfer of biological characters from one generation to another through genes is called as the heredity. It means that your genetic characters are transferred from one generation to another generation. याचाच अर्थ असा की एका पिढीपासून दुसऱ्या पिढीपर्यंत तुमचे अनुवंशिक गुण हे कॅरी फॉरवर्ड केले जातात, संक्रमित केले जातात, त्याला आपण हेरिडिटी म्हणतो. मग हेरिडिटी, व्हेरिएशन, सिमिलॅरिटी, इव्होल्यूशन, so all these are the terms which are very important as far as the genetics is concerned. So let us see what is meant by the genetics. So genetics is nothing but it is a branch of biology which deals with the study of genes. So here let us see that how many scientists they have worked in the genetics, and let us see out of these scientists the very famous scientists, what is their name and what is their contribution as far as the genetics is concerned. So let us start from 1886. The first scientist, that is Gregor Johann Mendel, who studied the genetics for the first time, and therefore he is known as the pioneer of the modern genetics, or afterwards he is known as, nowadays he is known as the father of genetics. So what is his contribution? That he has carried out a number of experiments on garden pea plants called as the Pisum sativum, where he has introduced monohybrid ratio, dihybrid ratio, so on and so forth. So a lot of work is carried out by Gregor Johann Mendel, although it is a pioneer work, but depending upon this base, lot of study is carried out in the genetics. So in 1901, Hugo de Vries, he put forth the mutation theory, and here he explained that how the sudden changes occurs and what are the effects of these sudden changes. Then comes to in 1902 Walter and Sutton, where they studied the chromosomes. So in earlier studies, you have studied what is meant by the chromosomes, what is meant by the genes, so how the genetic characters are transferred. So all these details you have studied in 9th standard. But who has who studied the chromosomes? That is the Walter and Sutton in 1902, and for this he has used grasshopper as a material. So a pair of grasshopper cells he has used, for his research. Then in 1944, Oswald Avery, Colin MacLeod, they studied DNA. And now we know that DNA is a genetic material which will transfer your genes, and therefore the transfer of genetic material will be carried out through DNA. But remember this, that it is in all the organisms except in viruses. So in virus, the DNA never transfer the genetic information. Nowadays, viruses are very popular. You know the information related to the viruses. In 1961, Francois Jacob and Jacques Monod, they studied the protein synthesis, and they made a model for process of protein synthesis with the help of DNA in bacterial cells. So this is what the brief history as far as the genetics is concerned. Now, in your syllabus, you have to study some important concepts, that is the transcription, translation, translocation, etc. And in detail, we are going to study what is meant by the evolution and what are the evidences in evolution. Now, actually in this topic, we are going to study all these concepts. In addition to this, we are going to study the Darwin's theory, then Lamarckism. So all these details we are going to study in this topic. Okay. So first of all, transcription, translation, and translocation. Actually, this is a very big topic. I am going to make a separate video for these three concepts. So here, what we are going to do is, we are going to see only the definitions as far as these terms are concerned. So what is meant by the transcription? The process of synthesis of mRNA as per the nucleotide sequence present on the DNA molecule is called as the process of transcription. So here, the process of synthesis of mRNA is very important, and therefore this is called as a transcription. The second definition we have to study, that is the translation. So as per the codon on mRNA, the tRNA molecule with complementary anticodon is brought near mRNA. This process is called as a translation. So here the mRNA, tRNA and anticodon plays very important role as far as the translation is concerned. Then translocation. The ribosomes keep on moving from one end of mRNA to other end by the distance of one triplet codon. This is called as the translocation. So as I said, that I am going to make a separate video for these three definitions and these three concepts. Here we are going to concentrate on the evolution and evolutionary parts of the organisms. So let us see what is meant by the evolution. The gradual change occurring in living organisms over a long period is called as the evolution. So it means that evolution is not a fast process. It requires millions and millions of years for the evolution. Now it has been understood that Earth is formed around 3.5 billion years ago. So the creation of Earth is very, very long ago. Right from there, the life of the organisms is originated. So it requires a lot of period as far as the evolution is concerned. So evolution results in the development of organisms. Now, here, what are the evidences as far as the evolution are concerned? Here we are going to see the 6 evidences which are related to the evolution. In exam, they may ask you a long answer questions on what are the evidences of evolution. So at that time, you have to give these 6 names, and then in detail, you describe any 2 evidences with a short figure. So you will get full marks. So let us see one by one what are the evidences. That is one thing. And another one is that in exam they may ask you another questions, that write short note on any one of the evidence. So let us consider in detail each evidence so that you can answer any type of questions which will be asked in your exam. So as I said that there are 6 different types of evidences. First one is called as morphological evidences. Second one is anatomical evidences. Third one is vestigial evidences. Fourth one is paleontological evidences. Fifth one is connecting link. And sixth one is your embryological evidences. So we'll consider one by one. So the first evidence of evolution is that morphological evidence. So before going into the evidences, let me tell you one thing. So what is meant by the evidences? Evidences याचा अर्थ पुरावा. पुरावा. आपण जे म्हणतो की इव्होल्यूशन झालं एवढ्या लाख वर्षापूर्वी, एवढ्या करोड वर्षापूर्वी पृथ्वीचा जन्म झाला, याला काय पुरावा आहे? तर हे सगळे पुरावे, हे 6 पुरावे तुम्हाला त्याच्यामध्ये दिले जातात आणि म्हणून मग याचं जास्त महत्व आहे. सो द फर्स्ट एव्हिडन्स इज द मॉर्फोलॉजिकल एव्हिडन्स. मॉर्फोलॉजिकल एव्हिडन्स याचाच अर्थ बाह्य रूप. बाह्य रूपावरनं तुम्ही कसं ओळखू शकाल की कोण कोणाच्या सारखा आहे, कोण कोणापेक्षा वेगळा आहे. अनेक वेळा आपण असं म्हणतो की हेरिडिटी कॅरेक्टर्सच्या याच्यामध्ये सुद्धा की बऱ्याच वेळेस आपण आपल्या आईसारखे दिसतो किंवा वडिलांसारखे दिसतो किंवा बहीण किंवा भाऊ यांच्यासारखे दिसतो. आपल्यामध्ये काही ना काहीतरी थोडंफार हे साम्य असतं. तर हे साम्य कशामुळे येतं? तर ह्या हेरिडिटी कॅरेक्टर्समुळे येतं. तसं मग हे सगळे जे बाह्य साम्य रूप आहेत हे आपल्याला कशामुळे दिसतं? तर ह्या मॉर्फोलॉजिकल एव्हिडन्सेसमुळे दिसतं. So here I have given you pictures. One is of animals and second one is of a plants. So here if you just look at these animals, that is the cat, then sheep and owl. If you just look at their morphology, then what you can see the position of neck, position of a nose in all these animals, then position of eyes as well as the position of pinna. They are more or less similar. They are more or less similar to each other. So this similarity says that all these animals, they might have evolved from one ancestor. It means their ancestor must be the same, and during the course of evolutions, that how they have changed their external behavior. So this is called as the morphological evidences. Same is the case in case of a plants also. If we just look at the structure of a leaf shape, leaf venations and leaf petioles, as well as if you just see the fruits of mango, chiku and guava, they look very similar to each other. So these similar features indicate that the origin of different animals or plant groups must be same, having a common ancestor. So here these are some morphological evidences. Now the second evidence is that if you just look at this second evidence is called as the anatomical evidence. Anatomy means internal. Anatomy, it means internal. So here if you just look at the structure of animals like the human hand, then foreleg of ox, then patagium of bat and the flipper of whale. If you just look at their internal structure, then there is a variation. There is a variation at their structure. But if you just look at their function, then function is same. That is the locomotion. That is the locomotion. So this similarity as far as the structure and the functions is said that their ancestors must be same. So in all these animals, these bones plays very important, or these organs plays very important as far as the locomotion is concerned. So in human beings, the hand is useful for picking of a substance. Then in case of a ox, it is for walking. In case of bat, for flying. And in case of a whale, that is for a swimming purpose. So their structure is slightly different, but their function is same. So since this evidence is found internally, therefore this is called as a anatomical evidence. The third one is called as a vestigial organ. Vestigial organs, that is the degenerated or underdeveloped organs which cannot perform any function, are called as vestigial organs. म्हणजे याचा अर्थ असा की काही ऑर्गन हे आपल्या शरीरामध्ये आहेत की ज्यांची आता फारशी वाढ झालेली नाही, असे ऑर्गन्स अजूनही आपल्या शरीरामध्ये आहेत, पण आता त्याचा फारसा उपयोग नाही, अशा अवयवांना आपण वेस्टिजियल ऑर्गन्स असं म्हणत असतो. मग ह्या वेस्टिजियल ऑर्गन्स मध्ये काय काय येतं, तर इफ यू जस्ट लुक ॲट द अपेंडिक्स, then wisdom teeth, then coccyx. So in all these organs, what you can see that they are present in your body, but they are of no use. They are useless organs. Okay, but in earlier days, these organs played very important roles. So existing organs undergo gradual change during evolutionary process. So thus they form a new tissue or organs. So, under certain environmental conditions, such changes are necessary. For example, just consider the appendix. Appendix nowadays, they are important in case of a herbivorous animals, where they feed on the uncooked food material like grasses. So whatever the cellulose which is present in the grasses, that will convert into the food by the appendix. Whereas now the human beings are not taking uncooked food material, we are taking cooked food material, and therefore this appendix is of no use. So although it is so, the organ is remain over there. Therefore, this organ is called as a vestigial organ. Then same is the case with wisdom teeth as well as a coccyx. Coccyx is what? Coccyx is nothing but it is the tailbone. It is a human body tailbone which is called as a coccyx. Then muscles of ear pinna, wisdom teeth, and body hairs. So all these are of no use, but still they are there. So these are what? These are the vestigial organs. So these organs played very important role in earlier days. For example, if we just consider the coccyx. So coccyx is a organ which is found in human beings, and in earlier days we know that we had a tail. So the muscles which present at the coccyx, they played very important role as far as the movement of tail is concerned. Now, during the course of evolution, as we know that, as Darwin says, that the organ which is used regularly, that will develop, whereas the organ which is not used, that will cast off. So same way, our tail is cast off because this tail was not useful as far as the human being is concerned, and therefore that was cast off. But the muscles which were required for the movement of a tail that was there, and therefore the coccyx is present in our body, but now it is a rudimentary. Now it is a rudimentary. म्हणजे ते थोडंसं कमी याच्यामध्ये डेव्हलप आता होत आहे. So these are what? These are the vestigial organs. Now the next evidence is a paleontological evidence. Paleontology is a branch of biology which deals with the study of fossils. So as we know that fossils played very important role as far as the evolutions are concerned. So during the course of a volcanic eruptions or some natural calamities are there, the organisms or their impressions were preserved deep down in the earth's surface. And then these impressions were turned into fossils. So various natural calamities buried the organisms in this way. So fossils throw a light on the evolutionary process as far as they offer direct evidence of a evolution. Now, if you just look at these pictures, here you can see the bone structures of the organisms. So this is a fossils. Then here you can see the face of a organisms, and you can clearly see the teeth, position of the teeth of the organisms. Here you can see the fish, fossils of the fish. So this gives you the direct evidence as far as the paleontology is concerned. So this is another very important evidence as far as the evolution is concerned. Now the next part, that is the connecting links. Now, we have studied the animal classification, that is animals are classified into two groups, chordates and non-chordates. So within the non-chordates, that is we start from the phylum Protozoa, Porifera, Coelenterata, so on and so forth. So here if you just look at each and every phylum, then some organisms might have evolved and they might have entered into the next phylum. During the course of evolution, some animals showed the connecting links. So they showed some characteristics of earlier phylum and some characteristics of the next phylum. So here this is called as the connecting links. So some organisms share morphological characters of two groups and hence they are called as connecting links. म्हणजे जसजसं तुम्ही फायलमचा अभ्यास करत जाता तसतसं काही ऑर्गॅनिझम्स हे त्यांच्यामध्ये इव्होल्युशन झालं, त्यांच्यामध्ये डेव्हलपमेंट झाली आणि ही डेव्हलपमेंट होत असताना ही डेव्हलपमेंट ताबडतोब झाली नाही, तर त्याला अनेक वर्ष लागले, लाखो वर्ष लागले. इट रिक्वायर्स millions and millions years for the development. But still, some organisms are there which shows the connecting link between these two organisms. Therefore, this connecting link played very important role as far as the evolution is concerned. So, first and foremost example is your duck-billed platypus. So, this duck-billed platypus shows both the characteristics. One is a reptilian characteristics as well as the mammalian characteristics. What is the reptilian characteristics? In reptiles, the animals lay eggs as well as they are having scales on their body. So these two are very important characteristics as far as the reptiles are concerned. Whereas in mammals, that is the presence of mammary gland and the hairs, body hairs. These two are the very important characteristics. But in case of a duck-billed platypus, this animal shows both the characteristics, that is egg-laying habitat, the scales on the body, as well as the presence of mammary glands and hairs. It means that this animal is considered to be the connecting link between the reptiles and the mammals. Another example, let me share with you, that is the lungfish. Lungfish, as the name itself indicates, it is a fish. So the body of the organism is a fish-like, and it is the first and foremost characteristics of your fish. Whereas the amphibian characteristics, that is, it respires with the lungs. If we just look at the fishes, fishes respires with the gill slits. But here, in this case, this lungfish respires with the lungs. So this shows the connecting link between the fishes and reptiles. Another one is the peripatus. So peripatus is also shows both the characteristics, that is annelids and the arthropods. Okay, so this peripatus is considered as a connecting link between these two, that is annelids and arthropods. Okay, the another important evidence, which is very important one, that is called as the embryological evidences. What does it mean by embryology? The branch of biology which deals with the study of embryos. त्याला मराठीमध्ये भ्रूणशास्त्र असं म्हणलं जातं. So here, if you just compare the embryos, early embryos of these organisms, for example, the salamander, tortoise, chicken, pig, cow, rabbit, and man. So here, if we just look at the rows, the first row shows the very early embryos, whereas the second row shows the middle development of the embryos, and the last row shows the advanced last stage of the embryos. So if you just look at the first row, so at first row, what we can say that there is a similarity between all these organisms. So what are the organisms? That is the salamander, tortoise, then chicken, pig, cows, rabbit, and man. So in all these organisms, they show similarities. But after few months, they showed distinct difference between the organism. So after few months, you can clearly differentiate between the embryos of salamander and tortoise, then chicken, cows, pig, and man. Whereas at a later stage, you can definitely distinguish between all the organisms. So this shows that there is a similarity between these organisms at the embryology level. So this similarity indicates that their origin is common, and therefore this also plays very important role as far as the evidences of the evolution is concerned. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel, and hit the bell icon so as to get the more videos. Thank you very much.